What have you ever heard people saying, people talking about a musician? What are the things that you fear about when you think about a musician? When you're thinking about starting a career in the music career in the creative industry, what do you fear? What do you think are the shortcomings in this field? Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon and how are you doing? This is Flawah Sounds. Welcome and consider subscribing to this channel for more content like this and more engaging and candid conversations about different things within the music spectrum. So today we are going to be talking about something that is so interesting, and I know you've seen the title of this video, and we are talking about the ideal life of a musician. What happens in each and every day of a musician? What happens in the life of a musician? What do musicians get to do? What do we do? For example, like me who is a musician, what do we get to do on a daily basis? What are the things that we see? What are the experiences, and what are the things that we know? Number one, you will identify that as a musician, you have to identify an area of expertise. For example, you have to identify whether you are a singer or you are an instrumentalist. I mean, those are the basic ones that people know about music. So either wewe ukuwe ni mtu wa kucheza instruments ama wewe uimba. So that is the number one thing. You need to identify the area of expertise. And there are other areas in the music spectrum. There are other things like music. You can write about music in the magazines. You can write about music in newspapers. You can write about music in your personal blogs and vlogs. And also there are other things like teaching. You can be a teacher of music in a particular school, or you can also be a teacher of music in these informal schools like the music schools that we have around, or a formal school. And then you can also be a producer who records music. You can become a producer or a sound engineer who does live music. You are found in places that people are performing live music, and that is where your expertise is. So number one thing, first things first, is that you need to identify your area of expertise. Unafaa uchague place yenye uko comfortable nayo kufanya. Mtu mwingine ni mpoa sana kwa kucheza but si mpoa kwa kuimba. Mtu mwingine naye ni mpoa kwa kufanya live sound mixing but si mpoa naye kwa kurecord music. Mwingine naye anajua kurecord fiti but sauti yake inagwara tu. And then that is the first thing. And then in the instruments, if you've chosen about becoming an instrumentalist, there are a few areas, there are a few categories that you can choose. Number one, you can choose the rhythmic or the percussive instruments. In this one we have the drum set or the drum kit, alafu tuko na zile percussions, African percussions like congas. And then you can also do other areas, like for example you can be playing shakers. Hata hiyo utaona sana watu wanaimba cheza shakers. You can become also that is in the area of the percussive the rhythmic instruments, the rhythmic category. And then the other one you can play and choose the melodic instruments. In this one we have the wind instruments, the brass, and appear the brass. For example, you can choose to become a trumpeter, you can choose to become a saxophonist, you can choose to become an oboist. There are so many things within the wind spectrum that you can choose. You can play the tuba, and then in the harmonic instrument you can choose to play the keyboard. You can choose to play, let's say, the violin, the stringed instruments. You can play the guitar. The common ones are the guitar and then the piano. You can choose either of those in those categories. And then the last one, which is the best one, the one that almost everyone can do from the comfort of your home, is becoming a singer, a vocalist. So it's the instrument that God has placed in us that you can utilize to become a musician. So that is number one. You need to identify the area that you want to major in. Ndio usiingie tu kwa hii kitu and then you are all over, alright? And then the other one is that the second thing that you need to do, it's because you are entering into something that is new. For example, there is a quote that says that men are born as boys and then they grow to become men, and then they become fathers, and then they become patriarchs who are fathers of fathers. So you need to identify people who've walked this journey before you and they've achieved some certain milestones. Look at people who you admire. For example, if you are a vocalist, there are so many people who have the vocal prowess in both. You can choose a local one and an international one, so you need to choose like a mentor who can be able to work with you. Not really necessarily that ati mkwe mnapatana physically, but right now we have the advantage of the internet, so you can be able to Google ama go to YouTube or follow them on Instagram or on TikTok. Follow these people and understand how they've done it. Look at their personal journeys. How have they been able to reach wherever they are? Look at people who've become stars, who've become people who people relate with in whatever they do, whether they are instrumentalists. Look for someone who you admire and who you can be able to learn a few things here and there, and it doesn't have to be one person. Unaweza chukua kitu moja kwa huyu, kitu ingine kwa huyu. Maybe this one has good songwriting skills, this one is a good vocalist, the other one is a good instrumentalist, so you can be able to merge them together and you become a well furnished product. And then the other one is number 3. People say that you cannot be able to go where you don't know, so you need basic knowledge. Basic knowledge about music. In this channel we have a video that is talking about the various elements of music, so you can be able to go back to that video and look at it and watch and understand some few things in this music. In music. So you need basic knowledge, and you need to understand what you're doing. You need to understand what you're getting into. You need to understand how music is recorded. You need to understand how music is played. You need to interpret music on paper or by ear. You need to have that basic understanding of what this music, what is this that you're talking about, what is this playing of instruments, what is a violin, what is this saxophone that I want to start playing. So that is the other thing that you need to know. You need to have a basic understanding of the same. It can be formal. You can go to a university and learn music, or you can go to a music school, or you can identify some person, as I was saying in the previous point that I was talking about having a mentor. So you can be able to learn informally or formally, whichever you choose. The bora tu una learn na unasonga mbele. And then the other thing that you need to do, which is so important in this, I cannot insist on it enough, you need to practice. You need practice. Practice makes perfect. You need to sharpen your skills. For you to be able to stand before greatness, for you to be able to stand before great men, you need to practice each and every day. There is no break in this thing, because the day you stop practicing, you start dwindling, you start going down, you start dying in your music, and you lose relevance in this generation or in whichever generation you are. So you need to practice. So if, for example, if you're an instrumentalist, for example, if you have a keyboard, you can start with, let's say, like 15 minutes. You spread 15 minutes. You say, I'm going to practice for 15 minutes in the morning, and then after I'm from work in the evening, I practice for another 15 minutes. You don't really need to own a keyboard from day one. You can start learning it online. You can download a keyboard on your Android or on your Apple phone. You can download these things and start practicing. As days go by, you start buying your own equipment. But the principal thing is that you need to practice. So you can start with 15 minutes in the morning, 15 in the evening. You go on like that for a week, for 2 weeks, and then you add it becomes 30 minutes, it goes to 1 hour, it goes to 2 hours. Mpaka place unajipata a whole night you're practicing, because it's the only way that you can be able to become perfect. And then the other thing that you need probably to venture into, it's recording. You need to record whatever you're playing. If you're a singer, you need to start thinking about how you can be able to record your music. But it's after you've done the other 3 things that we've said. It's after you've identified the area of expertise that you want. It's after you've found someone to relate and learn from, a mentor. And then the other one is after you've had basic knowledge about what you're doing, and then now you can go and approach a music producer or a sound engineer and now think about recording your craft, so that it's archived for the generations to come, so that they can be able to also learn from what you have. Because the world, it's a place that is built on relationships. We need to learn from one another. So when you record it, and then other people come and learn from you, and then they record, so you get that cycle of music never dies. It continues each and every day. And then you don't really necessarily need to go to a studio. You can also record with your phone. You can start recording with your phone, and then you improve on, I mean, when you get the finances, you go to a music producer and record. And then now when you're recording, also because you want to be relevant to your generation, you need to keep on learning. So in this learning, it's not just the learning that I was talking about previously, it's keeping tabs with new things that are coming. For example, there is new sound that is coming. Artists and music ministers are producing music that sounds so different right now from what was being recorded in the past by our fathers and other people. So you need to keep tabs, keep learning, keep looking at what is happening, so that you're not irrelevant. Because for example, if you produced a song right now that sounds like Ron Kenoli, the sound that he was producing, the music that had brass in it, I mean so much in it, it was dense, it had choirs, you might not be as relevant. I mean, I'm not demeaning anyone, but you might not be as relevant as he was then right now. So you need to know what is being produced right now. I don't mean that you become a showbiz man and produce what people want, but even in producing your own music that sounds so different, please also let it be technically technologically relevant as per the now, as per the day, as per where we are now. And then the other thing that you need to know and understand and try as much as it is within you, because I know probably you're not like that, is try to work with people. I mean, you can only go far when you're alone. You know, when people are many, they get much work done. They make more steps ahead. When you're alone, you can only do so much. But when you're a group, when you have a team that you're working with, not necessarily a group that you're working with as a collabo, but people that you can relate with and do stuff with. For example, you can have a band that you're working with, you can have a church that you're playing, you can be able to go to a certain church and become a member there, and become a member of the band, and become a member of the praise and worship team. Try and work with people. You can have people who help you in other things that you're doing, have people that help you in doing videos, and then also have people that help you in marketing. Try and work with people, because you get to move forward and walk a little bit faster than you could have when you are alone. And then the last thing that I am going to talk about, and we are going to expound on these things later, is copyright. Go and register your music, register your craft with the government, the responsible people, the collective management organizations. In as much as they may not give you the money that you need, try and copyright your stuff, because intellectual property, the one that you create from your mind, no one knows that this song belongs to you. Probably maybe labda uambie they see you in a certain video, but no one knows that it's your song. No one knows that you're the one who wrote it. No one knows that you're the one who played that guitar in that particular song. But when you copyright it with whichever body you want to copyright it with, you can be able to claim ownership of the song, of the craft that you've done, or the art later on in life. Because you never know, some songs come out there, you played a guitar in the song, and then it becomes so big, but you have nowhere to claim that you're the one who played the guitar. You have nowhere to claim that you're the one who wrote that song. You have nowhere that is written that you can be able to claim that you're the one who helped the certain artist that is renowned to write their song. So as I wind up, these are very crucial points. These are points to consider when you're in this musicianship, the ideal life of a musician. These are the things that you can never ignore. When you go to Rome, when you go to America, whether you go to Brazil, or you come here to Africa, to Nairobi, Kenya, these are the same things that everyone that is in this music business will tell you. These are the things that you need to do each and every day. So never ignore these things. Go back to this video, learn about the thing that I was talking about. Engaging into a certain area that you have chosen. This is the one that I'm going to run with. Find a person that can be able to help you, and it's someone that you can listen to. Get basic knowledge about music. Practice, keep practicing to make perfect. record your music with a phone or in a studio, make a video of the certain song that you've created, learn about the new genres, new music that is coming up. How does it sound? What is the sound that is being heard being listened to in the generation in the time that we are in? Work with people and finally register your music. Make sure you don't ignore any of these things. If you really want to go far, there is how you enter cities. Thank you very much. This has been Flawah Sounds.